Kuhu Salam Shalom. Welcome to Craigcast. I'm born as a crowd and a kike, so that's Craigcast. Welcome. And I'm happy to see you. No, that's only my phone. Okay, just smash the like button, leave a comment that indicates the rhythm of algorithm, suggest video to other people, subscribe and share a link to this video on social media. Why do I have to tell this? Because everybody else does, and because if you don't tell, you don't smash the like button, like now. Okay, so I wanted to make a video about smart, stupid people, because I was thinking about lots of videos about IQ, medically, what's seen, what's genetics, what's not genetic, what's pseudoscience. People are very discouraged if they have intelligence because they think they have a number and they are condemned for life with this number. You are this number. You are the 120, you are 164, you are an 80 or something like that. And it's not true. This number changes. For example, if you take a lot of drugs, then it goes rapidly down. Also, it's seen when, for example, a chimpanzee hears one sound in a second, only by comparing the sounds, the intelligence goes up. So if you think, you get more intelligent, you are more intelligent as if you let think. Oh, that will be censored. Even if somebody is very intelligent, he can use his intelligence to the disadvantage to think how to be stupid by impairing intelligent thought and eliminating discrepancies. So let's start with stupid ideas thought and promoted by smart people and how-to guide that apparently a lot of people have. But generally speaking, thought. What's thought? I'll give an example, flexing muscles, something that I can show. For example, your brain, or in my case, my brain thinks, flex the arm, and the arm flexes. And the order came from here, a little bit inside. It's a frontal premotor cortex. And well, the thought is a process in your brain. And just for the fun of it, let's say the ability to think has something to do with intelligence. Yeah, so it's proven that you are instantly more intelligent compared to not thinking when you think. And thinking is fun even for beginners, so just try it. But your brain gave, or in this case my brain gave the order to the biceps to contract, and the electric signal was transferred. Also, you can't extend the arm by contracting, otherwise you are simply like start to trembling. And so there was another thought to release your triceps. There's an area called basal ganglia and a pathway called GABA that regulates your overall tension first and foremost. Without any tension, you collapse like a sausage. So there was a neuron giving the order to inhibit tension to your triceps, and we have learned those things. The first many times we fell down before learning how to stand up as a baby, so it's something you learned. There's actually a balance between biceps and triceps. We get the order to flex for the biceps, the triceps not to intervene, inhibitory neurons it's called, and even to extend to make place for the biceps. And then we have little buttons in the end of the muscles measuring the muscle tension and giving the direction where are we, like and this giving feedback that will be calculated. The brain knows, oh, now we reached the target, we flex totally. And these are called Golgi apparatus, called after Golgi, that was a scientist who discovered that. For reacting quicker, the closest part of your brain is inside your spine, except if you're a politician, because you don't have a spine. The inhibitory interneuron is called, which makes reactions like you step on something that's sharp and you have the partial reflex. So already bound one thought are 3 lines of thoughts in your brain background, silent operating, and some reflex or reflex down. But there can also be an unexpected details, like pain. Let's say you have a nail in front of you, and you want to flex your arm into the nail, and that would press the nail into your hand, that you have a hole. And the pain receptors, nociceptors called, give that information to the brain, stop, here it hurts. But let's say you are stubborn and therefore think, ignore pain because it's heroic to have pain and a hole in your hand. Same thing with ideologues that become fanatic, and every ideologue is fanatic, that's why he's an ideologue. So back to the muscle, there you have to give the thought of an anti-thought, don't flex and be calm. Relaxing is also a form of active thinking. And for ideologues, there's a thought of being able to think with your wonderful brain for the less fortunate dumb people and lead them into the paradise of the world revolution of the proletarians in case of Lenin, for example. Unfortunately, some obstacles have been there, like a mass execution of those who preferred their own thought to that of the genius. So there's then this dissonance that leading to paradise the subjects with wonderful thinking leads actually to a horrific death with the subject instead of paradise in agony. That's the kind of leil, but pain, because hero means then the greater good. Therefore, excuses had been made formulating a chain of causalities that the communists envisioned, but never happened. Like, there will be, how do you know?
Also be clear, the future is not just happening. The future is built by us, by a powerful community as you here in this room.
Do you know the future, Prophet? A complicated structural reality and a permanent convincing that what you might envision must be the outcome. Then come doubts, also thoughts. Doubts are also thoughts, so those are encountered with an also pure invented chain of causalities. What might happen when not doing your wonderful things that just as hiccup accidentally kill people? If, for example, run the case of a national socialist, the greater good is held back by the Jews, me, because I killed Jesus, because I thought he was a Mexican, because his first name was Jesus, or as Marx writes, I don't have a religion. When I don't have a religion, then instead of not having a religion, okay, then the money would be my religion, the mammon, which is capitalism, the evil to socialists, you know. Capitalism, the evil of when everybody, instead of only the elites, can make money. In the National Socialist case, money gets personified, like reincarnated in Jews, and no Jews, no capitalism, and the thought of no money is the doubt of to suppress. Because, well, whatever. Turns out, instead of paradise, there had been Europe totally destroyed. Imagine that this world unifier socialist has to think the idea while maintaining thinking. So the idea of the worst outcome and the best outcome will be there, and the whole ideal outcome world. So while fantasizing about, for example, a great reset to paradise, to feudalism, for example, there are in the mind marching 3 universes, from which only one, and that's one compared to 2 is the minority, that one is reality. So the minority of the universe is reality, because there are 2 other universes of what the worst case and the best case. That's a lot of thought that demands huge imagination, so lots of brain is occupied. And so it works how you can dumb down yourself if the reality doesn't is not what you think it is, because you also imagine the reality that should be and that shouldn't be, and therefore you are too occupied to think of what's in front of you. For example, Sri Lanka, perfect ESG goals leads to imagining in the future investments that will bring jobs and fun, and while counter is the world gets flooded through climate change. If you don't do that and everybody dies. That didn't happen yet, but who cares? But we scream a lot to hold that thought, like, how dare you, misinformation. It might come true or not, but when you scream a lot, as soon as you realize, as it hasn't happened today, then you might tend to think it will happen, and resulting absence of the noise that you have screamed at will calm down. So you are doing it. So compared to that reality, that only a few millions are really now starving and dying in Sri Lanka, while imaginary future has billions of happy people with the ESG wonderful score investing, and then there's the second universe, if letting people produce, for example, food for starving, there will be billions dead, for sure. And so then the millions are them, so we have this experience of thought goes now also to the Netherlands and Germany, because yeah, he had also made the experience. So we have twice 2 worlds, twice 9 billion people that are confronted with only a few million directly starving, which is a minority. So we have the 9 billion happy people and another 9 billion that died because of climate change. And there are 18 billion people, so what are 2 million people? Nothing. That's smart stupid, because in reality there are no future billions existing yet, nor billions that. That is an assumption, and the reality existing is 0 people, from whom the millions are more than the majority. But not the greater good, only human beings that are an agony. Like, how come that in Mali we have now NATO weapons in civil warlords' hands that are actually delivered from the future in which Ukraine wins every war and Klaus Schwab becomes the South Russia with Lady Larry Fink? The 9 billion happy people in the world compared to Putin ravages Ukraine and conquered up to the end of the French coast in Europe, which is also flooded because of climate change, and his tanks drive through the Atlantic from the floor up to Manhattan, and everybody gets massacred, the 9 billion unhappy. So that's 18 billion people compared to a handful of warlords in Mali. What are even 1,000 of those figures compared to the imaginary 80 billion? See? No problem. Stupid smart. All live healthy, jumping happy with a digital health passport compared to the pandemic of the unvaccinated zombies that eat grandma's brain. So Christine Lagarde had better plans like Sinicide for making they don't sit on the money that she hopes that they have. Then that one medication can have side effects are a few millions compared to 9 billion, or don't say much yourself, zombies eating grandmas and withering corpses, or the 9 billion happy perky pink people of the stakeholders, which are 10% of the population, because 90% have to be exterminated according to the World Economic Forum, if you go on the website. Compared to these 18 billion, there are practically no people that have side effects. But you have profits, so it might happen for someone not smart enough to imagine their realities, that they just see one reality and conclude it doesn't work. Well, he has not vision, of course. Or someone understands that the 3 universes, but has still enough brainpower to realize which ones are maybe and which one is, or that maybe is not plausible. So let's censor this video for the greater good, for the truth over facts.